Hello everybody, this is Jim again with another video. This is a collection video from the Shout Select line. Before we get into this, if you could please leave a like, a comment, or subscribe, I would really appreciate it. But we'll try to make this one kind of quick, so I apologize in advance for any kind of glare or anything. I'm new at this, so I'm doing the best I can. So here we go. The first one is A Midnight Clear. World War II movie, directed by Keith Gordon, starring a bunch of people. Zoom that in a little bit. Peter Berg, Kevin Dillon, Artie Gross, Ethan Hawke. Ethan Hawke's a baby in this. Gary Sinise is a baby in this. But it's based on a true story. It's a really good movie. And it's number 106 in their line. And here's the back. And it's, like I said, it's based on a true story in World War II, but it's not really an action movie per se. It's more of a drama. But it's a really good movie. And again, the cast is excellent. Speaking of excellent, we have Bill and Ted's Most Excellent Collection, which contains the first two movies, Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure and Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey. Here's the back. Boatload of features, special features. I really like this collection. I do have the third movie on a separate Blu-ray. And this is number 5 in their line. Next, we have one of my favorite comedians of all time, Richard Pryor. Walter Hill movie, Brewster's Millions, co-starring John Candy. This is number 97 on their line. And the nice thing about this movie, or this particular edition, is that in addition to this movie, it contains the original Brewster's Millions from 1945, because this is a remake, and it's kind of cool. You know, it's like getting two movies for one, but it's not my favorite Walter Hill movie by any stretch, and it's not my favorite Richard Pryor movie, but again, you know, it's Richard Pryor and John Candy, so that's Brewster's Millions. Next, we have Joe Dante's directed, Tom Hanks starring The Burbs. First time I saw this movie, I wasn't really sure about it, but the more times I saw it, the more I liked it. You know, I saw it theatrically years ago. This is number 44 in their line. And yeah, it's a crazy movie. I'm sure just about everybody's seen The Burbs at this point. But there's the back. Bruce Dern's really funny in this. Carrie Fisher, you know, R.I.P., she was great and everything. Okay, here comes one of my favorite movies from my childhood. Cheech and Chong's next movie. I love the tagline, see Cheech and Chong do number 2. Huh, how clever. This is number 22 in the line. Obviously, this is the second movie. It's the sequel to Up in Smoke, which is a classic. And even though Up in Smoke is a better movie, this movie is funnier, I think. There's no story to this movie at all, but it's funny as hell. And 1980, there you go. I remember seeing this at the drive-in on a double feature with Caddyshack when I was like 13 years old. So yeah, I love that movie. Next we have Billy Crystal, City Slickers. Love Billy Crystal. Love this movie. Number 47 in their line. This movie was directed by Ron Underwood, who also directed Tremors. Everybody's seen this movie. Jack Palance is like iconic in this. He won an Oscar for it. And Daniel Stern and Bruno Kirby are both great. Yeah, it's a good movie. So that's City Slickers. Next, we have Colors, directed by Dennis Hopper, starring Sean Penn and Robert Duvall. I remember this was a pretty controversial movie when it came out. I loved it theatrically. I still love it. Not a hip-hop guy, but I love the theme song from Ice-T. But yeah, this is a really good addition. And, Robert Duvall and Sean Penn, they're phenomenal. And you know, I don't know how realistic it is, especially when they show the Bloods and the Crips, and it's like basically these multi-ethnic gangs. You know, that's pretty Hollywood. But the rest of it is, you know, it's a solid movie. Okay, speaking of solid movies, which is an understatement, The Deer Hunter, Best Picture winner, Robert De Niro, John Cazale, John Savage, Christopher Walken, who won an Oscar for this, Meryl Streep, Michael Cimino movie. This is the 4K combo Blu-ray, mainly because I got it because this was the only way to get it on Blu-ray. I've said on an earlier video, I do have a couple of 4Ks, but mainly because it's part of a combo. I don't plan on upgrading to 4K. I've done it too many times in my life, and quite frankly, I'm getting too old. So, but yeah, it's a Deer Hunter. It's a great movie. That is number 105 on their line. Okay, next we have something totally different. Dirty Rotten Scoundrels with Steve Martin and Michael Caine, directed by Frank Oz. Yeah, what can you say about Dirty Rotten Scoundrels? It's hilarious. Number 61 in the line. It's a great movie. I saw this theatrically back in the day. The first time I saw it, I didn't really care for it all that much. And then again, like a lot of movies, upon returning to it, I realized, you know, it's not supposed to be the jerk or the man with two brains. It's something totally different, and it's pretty damn funny. This one is just completely goofy, but I love it. Dragnet, Dan Aykroyd, Tom Hanks. Dan Aykroyd does such a great Jack Webb impression throughout this movie. Number 52 in the line. Dragnet's great. You know, I can understand why a lot of people wouldn't like it and think it's stupid and everything else, but like I said, I remember seeing this theatrically, and I just thought it was hilarious. So that's Dragnet. Oh, here's something from my childhood. Earthquake. I saw this in 1975 at the theater in Sensurround. And if you don't know what Sensurround is, basically they just cranked up the speakers until the place shook. Number 78 in the line. This is one of the great trifecta disaster movies from the 70s. The other two being The Poseidon Adventure and The Towering Inferno. But this one's great, and it's got an epic cast, and it's got both versions of the movie, and it looks great, it sounds great, it still holds up. I watched this recently, hadn't seen it in years, and yeah, some of the stuff in it's pretty cheesy and melodramatic, but you know, I'll take this movie over San Andreas anytime. So that's Earthquake. Next we have another Joe Dante movie. This is Explorers. This is a newer addition to my collection. I like the fact that it came with the slipcover. I was kind of surprised. It's number 116 in the line. And this one, I mean, look how young Ethan Hawke is there. I mean, he is a baby. And the late, great River Phoenix in the glasses there. He left this earth way too young. He was a phenomenal young actor, and who knows what might have happened if he had stuck around. But R.I.P. He was a fantastic actor, and Ethan Hawke became a phenomenal actor. And this is more of a kids movie. I more or less got this for my grandson, who hasn't watched it yet, but I'm looking forward to revisiting. Okay, here's one from my childhood. Robert Redford and The Great Waldo Pepper, directed by George Roy Hill. This is number 91, and this is a really phenomenal movie, and it's got some of the best plane stunts I have ever seen in my life, including a stunt at the beginning that I am still amazed that nobody died. It's an incredible stunt, and look at Susan Sarandon. She's extremely young in this movie. There's Robert Redford. But yeah, this is a really good movie. Next, we have another Steve Martin movie. We have The Jerk. Everybody knows The Jerk. Everybody's seen The Jerk. Bernadette Peters. So damn adorable in that movie. I'm sorry. That is number 54 in the line. And here's the back. Yeah, Jerk's great. R.I.P. Carl Reiner, who died recently. He directed a lot of the early Steve Martin movies, and The Jerk's a classic for a reason. Okay, next we have California, with a slipcover again. Brad Pitt, David Duchovny, Juliette Lewis. Number 68 in the line. This is a pretty slow burn movie, but it's really good. Brad Pitt is seriously unhinged in this movie. I mean, seriously unhinged. He's really good in this. And David Duchovny, who I've always liked as an actor, but he'll always be Mulder to me from X-Files. I mean, he always will be. Okay, next we have another great movie, The Man in the Iron Mask, which has been redone a million times, but this is my favorite version. And look at that cast. DiCaprio, Jeremy Irons, John Malkovich, Gerard Depardieu, Gabriel Byrne. I mean, it's so good. And what's really wild is that, you know, with a cast that stacked, you would think, you know, everybody would just be at the top of their game, and they are. But my favorite character and performance in the entire movie is Gerard Depardieu. He is absolutely hysterical in that movie. Okay, this might be my favorite release on the entire line. Midnight Run with Robert De Niro and the wonderful Charles Grodin. This, to me, is the greatest buddy cop, buddy on the run movie ever. It's a perfect movie. This is number 3 in the line. And I saw this at the theater with my ex-wife when we were dating way back when in the day, and fell in love with it from the day one. I just absolutely love this movie. And Danny Elfman's score is great. You know, it's directed by Martin Brest, who also directed the original Beverly Hills Cop and Scent of a Woman. But this is his best movie. It is so good. If you've never seen Midnight Run, please do. It is just, it's excellent. Okay, next we have Murder by Death, Neil Simon movie. It's basically a murder mystery spoof. Number 58. And you want to talk about casts. The cast in this movie is phenomenal. I mean, there you go. In diabolical order: Eileen Brennan, Truman Capote, James Coco, Peter Falk, Alec Guinness, Elsa Lanchester, David Nevin, Peter Sellers, Maggie Smith, Nancy Walker, Estelle Winwood. I mean, Alec Guinness, who most people know, you know, has been Obi-Wan Kenobi, is a butler in this movie, and he is hysterically funny. This movie's great. Okay, another one of my favorite movies in the line, and one of my favorite Sylvester Stallone movies that nobody talks about, is Nighthawks, with Sly and Billy D. Williams and the incredible Rutger Hauer, who is the villain in this movie. And he's a terrorist, and he's very believable in this movie. Very believable. Lindsay Wagner from The Bionic Woman, she's in this. Pierces Gambetta from the original Star Trek, the motion picture, she's in this as well. But Rutger Hauer he steals the movie. He is just phenomenal. So yeah, again, if you've never seen Nighthawks, please do. It's a great movie. Okay, next we have Eddie Murphy, The Nutty Professor Collection, which has the original Nutty Professor and number 2, The Clumps. This is number 93. And I've got a warm spot for these movies. I mean, you know, they're not modern classics or anything, but they are fun, especially the first one. The first one's actually quite sweet. The second one's got a lot of fart jokes and stuff in it, but it's funny. They're both funny movies, and I like Eddie Murphy. Actually, I love Eddie Murphy, but I just wish that he would get back to making the movies he used to make when he was young. But that's just me. Okay, we have another collection here. This is the Oh God collection with the incredible George Burns. Before Morgan Freeman, George Burns was God. This is number 123 in the collection. Comes with all three of the Oh God movies, Oh God Book 2, and Oh God, You Devil. Quite frankly, the first movie is the only one that's worth a damn. The second movie is horrible. The third movie is watchable, but it's still not that great. But the first movie is a classic, and I remember seeing it as a child in the theater, and just thought, I between George Burns and Terry Garr, who I absolutely loved and have always loved since Young Frankenstein, yeah, Oh God, it's a great movie. John Denver too, R.I.P. John Denver. He was excellent in that movie. Okay, here's a movie from my high school days, and God, I love this movie, even though it really hasn't aged too well, but I don't care. Red Dawn, it's much better than that remake. And what a cast again. Patrick Swayze, C. Thomas Howell, Leah Thompson, Charlie Sheen, Jennifer Grey. This is number 13 in the line. William Smith is the Russian commander, and oh Lord, I'm having a brain fart. Ron O'Neal is the Cuban soldier. Are both phenomenal in this movie, and I definitely want to give a shout out to Powers Booth. Anything that Powers Booth is in is worth watching, and he is just a scene stealer in every movie he's in, including Red Dawn. He's great as the Colonel. But yeah, Wolverines. So speaking of more 80s cheese, but this is another great one. Roadhouse, Patrick Swayze. I mean, look at that mullet. It's a thing of beauty, Roadhouse is a great movie. Here's a quick goofy story. The weekend that this movie came out theatrically was the weekend that I got married the first time, and my ex-wife was obsessed with Patrick Swayze. So we actually went to see Roadhouse on our honeymoon. As part of our honeymoon weekend. And you know what? Even though we divorced 5 years later, and we don't really talk anymore, I still love this movie. I mean, it's just so much fun. So, yeah, Roadhouse is great. Okay, next one is more Sam Elliott greatness, because he's in Roadhouse and he's in Shakedown with Peter Weller from RoboCop, and yeah, this movie's a lot of fun. Number 40, and there's the man. Look at that mustache. I mean, come on, Peter Weller. Between Buckaroo Banzai and RoboCop, yeah, Peter he's the man. He's great. But yeah, this movie was written and directed by James Glickenhaus, who also wrote and directed one of my Kino movies, The Soldier, which I will get into in a further video. But yeah, Shakedown's a lot of fun. Okay, here's another 80s movie, 3 O'Clock High, Casey Siemaszko. This movie is a trip. Number 33. It's basically the old cliche of, the nerd accidentally pisses off the new kid who's in school, who's considered the big bully, and they kicked him out of a bunch of other schools, and the rumors about him go from he's a bully to he even killed a teacher and blah, 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 blah. And basically the two of them have to fight at the end of the school day. And it's kind of like High Noon, but it's a lot of fun. Okay, this would probably be my second favorite in my collection of the Shout Selects as far as titles go. The late, great William Friedkin, To Live and Die in L.A. I love every moment of this movie. The music, the performances, that car chase, number 8 in the line. William Peterson, John Pankow, William Dafoe. Everybody is phenomenal in this movie. And outside of Sorcerer, this is probably my favorite Friedkin movie. I know that's sacrilegious because everybody always says, The Exorcist or The French Connection. And I do love both of those movies, but there's something about Sorcerer and Live and Die in LA that just hit me differently. And I can't say enough about this movie. I know Kino just put out a 4K on this, and this version on Shout has been out of print for a very long time. But yeah, I am very happy to have this. Okay, have another Walter Hill movie here. Trespass, starring the late great Bill Paxton, Ice-T, William Sadler, Ice Cube. Just a standard action movie, but it's a lot of fun, and it's not boring. Number 24. And again, Walter Hill, his worst movie's better than most directors' best movies, so you know. And this is not top tier Walter Hill, but it's definitely not at the bottom of his list either. It's right in the middle, but you know, Bill Paxton and William Sadler, the two of them play off each other so well, as does Ice-T and Ice Cube. And yeah, Trespass is really cool. It's a lot of fun. Okay, we only got 2 more left. Here's my third favorite title in the Shout Select line that I own, and that is Used Cars. Another movie from my childhood that I have seen probably 100 times, and I will probably watch another 100 times before it's all said and done. This is probably the movie that started my my love of my heterosexual man crush on Kurt Russell. Between this and Escape from New York, which came out a year later, but yeah, this movie's great. Number 67. Kurt Russell and Garrett Graham and Frank McRae are so damn funny in this, and Jack Warden, rest in peace. He's wonderful. Plays 2 roles, and this was Robert Zemeckis' second movie, and was a big time flop. And years later, it's now considered a cult classic, and more people need to see Used Cars. This movie's great. Again, it's not politically correct. It's not supposed to be. It's funny as hell. I love Used Cars. And last on the list, but not least, Kurt Russell's wife, Goldie, Wildcats. I got this recently. I remember seeing this theatrically. Goldie Hawn, James Keach, and Nipsey Russell, and a very, very, very young, no, that's not him. I thought they would have a picture. Woody Harrelson and Wesley Snipes are both in this. And my God, are they young. They are so young in this. But yeah, Wildcats is a fun movie. You know, directed by Michael Ritchie, who also directed The Bad News Bears. You know, it's a sports comedy, but it's really cool. How can you not love Goldie? I mean, she's adorable, especially, you know, at this time. So, oh, there's Wesley right there, right there. Oop, sorry, right there. So that's it for my Shout Select line. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and please give me a thumbs up, and a comment would really be necessary. Just please don't be too harsh, and I hope to see you on the next one.